Have an informal chat with the media persons about their issues, about what the central government is doing in Nagaland in this case, and if there are any other ways in which we can improve our relationship. And along with that, we've also included an element of a workshop where we try to not do the speeches and have an open discussion about some new elements that are coming up in the media industry. So my session today will be a little bit about fact check, the new tools that are available for fact checking, as well as some of the new sources of news that are coming up and are very relevant, especially to publishers who have their own media portals and media channels. So again, I would repeat, the purpose of this Vartalap is not that we have a news that is run. It is only for your consumption and for your professional development. So today, apart from my session, I warmly welcome the Indian Army, who has very kindly collaborated with us for this Vartalap. We requested them on a very short notice to kindly arrange a medical camp for the journalists. I hope some of you have been able to use the services that have been placed at our disposal by the Indian Army. So I'm grateful for them for doing that. I would also like to warmly welcome Brigadier Bhati, Colonel Shukla, Colonel Venkat Iyer, as well as the DC of Dimapur for taking out their time and spending it with us and with the media fraternity, as well as all the resource persons.
I would like to thank the BIP for organizing this kind of programs, because we know, like, media fraternities, they are very important for disseminating all these informations of government programs, policies, and I hope that this kind of workshop and this kind of programs will greatly enlighten not only the media fraternities, but through them, through their channels, all the people's public in cities, in rural areas will be benefited. Here I would like to focus is, like, now it's 11 years of Prime Minister's government running, and we know many programs have been initiated, many programs have been launched in different departments. Today, I think only from the medical departments, the resource persons are there, but even if we see, there are many, in many departments, various programs have been launched, and I think our media friends also, they are well aware of the various programs where we used to organize from village to village, from different colonies to colonies. And I would like to request, taking this advantage, is that you are the channel to share all these programs to reach out to the people, and also like the positive impact of launching and of all these programs. So I think if we share these positive impacts, and I know personally that there are many people who have benefited and who have done well, but we Nagas, as we see, like many people who have achieved success through certain programs, but they don't come out openly sharing their success stories to the people. But through the medias, if you can share these kind of things, I think people will be really benefited, and through the success programs of certain individuals and certain organizations or certain societies, the other peoples who are in the rural areas will also be benefited. They will take up the example of that peoples, and I think definitely in longer runs, our Naga society or our people will be economically benefited. So I won't take much time. I wish all the best to all the media fraternities, and also invite this on the success of this program. Thank you once again.
Through its continuous engagement, the ARO Rangapahad is not just building careers, it is shaping the future of our armed forces and strengthening the unity of our great nation. The National Cadet Corps is the largest uniformed youth organization of our country and is contributing significantly for empowering the youth of Nagaland in many ways. With its current strength of over 9,000 cadets, it stands as a potent youth organization in the state. The NCC extends services in all the districts with its headquarters in Kohima and units located at Kohima, Mokokchung and Dimapur. They are organizing a large number of activities to engage the youth. A unit from Kohima is in process of shifting to Chumukidima, and also the NCC Training Academy is likely to come very shortly at Chumukidima. The state government also have been kind to sanction land for the construction of NCC group headquarters at Mariama in Kohima. NCC units are involved in grooming and training the students in various personality development aspects and skill sets in military, adventure, leadership, community development, and skills for the entrepreneurship roles. Overall, the NCC training curriculum at schools and colleges is designed to groom cadets to undertake leadership roles as well as become effective team members and responsible citizens. The efforts of the cadets have been largely appreciated both in the state and outside the state, and they are being empowered as youth of the Viksit Bharat. Another institute that focuses on the youth is the prestigious Sainik School Pungalwa, established as the 21st Sainik School of the country on the initiative of the Old Boys Association of Sainik Schools Nagaland chapter and under the Chief Minister Shri Nefurio, who himself is an alumnus of Sainik School Purulia. The idea of the establishing Sainik School in Nagaland was mooted. Subsequently, the school was inaugurated by Shri A.K. Antony, the then Defence Minister, on 12th May 2007. The school aims to prepare boys and girls academically, physically and mentally for entry into the elite National Defence Academy and also to remove regional imbalance in the officer cadre of the defence services, to develop qualities of body, mind and character enabling the young students of today to become good and responsible citizens of tomorrow, and to bring public school education within the reach of the common man. Progressing with its vision to be the seat of excellence, setting benchmark in own teaching standards, optimizing the ability of cadets to imbibe knowledge in order to become successful military leaders, to make this institution a real cradle of military leadership and one of the best Sainik schools in the country. The admission process briefly starts centrally for all the schools in the month of either September or October every year, and after clearing the All India Sainik School entrance exam, some counseling sessions and medical examinations, the students are granted admission in class 6th and 9th, strictly on the merit basis. Presently, 494 cadets are enrolled with the school, and as mark of achievement in a short span of time, 9 cadets of the Sainik School have commissioned as officers in different arms. Ladies and gentlemen, the Indian Defence Forces stand as a shining pillar of strength, dedication and innovation, committed not only to safeguarding our borders, but also to advancing the strategic vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Viksit Bharat 2047.
There are other forms of media that are coming up which you can say are internet based. Is that the domain of the question? So what is the government doing in streamline the traditional media versus the digital media, if I take the liberty? What do you mean by streamline?
Streamline is like there are different, like you see, platforms giving sources to people as well.
Yes.
So I believe the government is also doing something to make sure that the right information is reaching the right people, which can mostly be relied on digital and
Right.
the print
Okay.
media.
So, very good question, but a very long answer. So, So we'll have to go a little bit about media laws in this. So traditionally, stemming from the Article 19 of the Constitution, which talks about freedom of speech and expression, media in our democracy has been running basically on that principle. So government, as far as even regulating media or streamlining media, tries to have very limited role in the functioning of media, and has largely always said that, listen, you are one of the fourth pillars of our democracy, please develop a self-regulating mechanism. So as far as print media is concerned, the only streamlining that the government does is through the Registrar Newspapers of India, which has been now renamed, where the only thing that you have to do is register as a title and ensure that you are the publication is happening on a routine basis. But in terms of checking and regulating, you have the Press Council of India, which is a media-run body. It is a self-regulating body. Government has very minimal role to play in the functioning of PCI. Similarly, there are a lot of associations and bodies for TV channels. So, when you come to digital media now, there are two forms of there are two ways in which information is reaching the public. One is through social media, where suppose if you talk about Instagram or Twitter, they act as an intermediary. So person X is putting out some information, person Y is consuming, but it is happening on the platform Z, X for that matter, right? So this is governed by the IT Act, the Information Technology Act. So the roles and responsibilities of the intermediary is governed by that. Now, as far as the digital portals are concerned, within the IT Act, there are these new guidelines that have come up. The Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code. This came out in 2021. Okay, so just I'll quickly skip to the Digital Media Ethics Code, which is primarily governed by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, which is our parent, PIB's parent ministry. So it says that there are actually advisories and provisions that all digital media and publishers of digital media who have their separate website or they run a separate portal where they are the actual editors and publishers of news. तो अगर आपका suppose कोई platform है, there must be an editor, there must be somebody who is collecting news and pushing it out and people are consuming it directly. So they are actually supposed to register themselves with the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, and that basically ensures that we have a repository of people who are present on digital media, and once that happens, it kind of safeguards the digital media in the adverse actions such as blocking or something like that. If it is not registered with the government, we will never know whether it is India based or not, whom to contact. So the digital media is largely governed by these guidelines. Again, the government, it is a very new topic in terms of policy and law making. So the government is again pushing the digital media, the OTT platforms, to make a self-regulation body and ensure that this should not come to the government in the first place. What is happening on the digital platform. So in terms of streamlining, government wants to play very minimal role, because as soon as we thoda sa bhi high-handedness ho gaya, it will immediately have issues with our Article 19. So again, the law is very long, so it will start getting boring. Also, sabko chai to mila hai, but still.
Me, I am from print background, so I have the access. I have the accreditation from the government of Nagaland. But for the newer platforms, as in the digital media, say who use the social media platforms, say YouTube or Facebook, and so on. So they don't have, they don't get the access or the privilege, to get access to say to cover the assembly session or say the parliament session, right? So I think I would want to disagree with you, because the law which you were discussing earlier, the digital ethics law, something I'm not familiar with, I've forgotten the name. I think it was shelved because it faced very severe criticism from some of the veteran, senior journalists of the country. So what we would like to know is, what is the status? Is it, in hibernation? Is the government going to do something about it? Is the ministry going to do something about it? I'm pretty sure you must
As
know.
far as we'll have one agency for fact checking or not is still to be decided. It's in the court of law, but the rules are definitely still in place. And in terms of the accreditation, see, these are all evolving things. So when I talk about digital media registering themselves with certain platforms, with certain government agency, in this case the Ministry of INB, then in that case maybe some system will be developed to ensure, like for example, we've had a lot of cases that we're hearing about YouTubers getting embroiled in some kinds of scandals and all. So the government is also very alert on this issue. As far as PIB does not, as it is, give accreditation to any journalist outside Delhi. So in case of particularly Nagaland, only I think the Nagaland government is giving the DIPR, is it called? Here also?
Yeah.
The DIPR is giving the accreditation. So again, this is one topic that needs to be discussed with them also in this matter. PIB headquarters is still deliberating on how to get freelancers and your social digital media people on board.
Because currently there is no registration mechanism or mechanism for digital media outlets to register with.
There is with the Ministry of INB, there is definitely. In fact, it is an advisory that has been issued. What I'll do is, I have actually instructed them to open the WhatsApp chat handle today. WhatsApp chat, what is it called? WhatsApp group, sorry, yes. WhatsApp group today. So maybe they'll present the QR code which you can scan and become members. I will ensure that the advisories issued by the ministry in this regard are shared on the group. Okay? So you can please go through it, and if you still have questions, we can discuss it further.
Even my question is just adding on to what our President, what he just said. Our concern is mostly for the critical voices, not general, but like say for example someone like Ravish Kumar. He has always been critical of any establishment. The government might not be happy with him or hundreds of people like him, but he is not in a very traditional media right now. He is out of any TV or anybody. They may have very critical things to say about the government, as the 4th pillar, Article 19, safeguards his article, freedom of expression. So maybe sometimes for some reason the government might not approve his accreditation by DIPR of his place or the government mechanisms. Does that mean, as he said, platforms like him might not have access to certain closed spaces where government organizes very structured thing in which only very like the traditional media are allowed. Even in Nagaland, there's sometimes events and programs in which only the traditional media are allowed, and critical voices might be sidelined. So that is our concern.
No, that's fine. But the critical voices in the traditional media, they are allowed access. They have accreditation and they are allowed access. So this is my understanding that probably two issues have been mixed here. One you are saying is that access to only critical voices is not being given. But that is, when I asked you, that is not true. The critical voices in traditional media, they are being provided access. And coming back to my answer to what the previous journalist asked, even the central government, the state government, they are devising mechanisms on how to give some kind of recognition to the digital media also. So it's not about criticism per se. It is about developing a mechanism in which digital media can be identified. There is still, let me ask you a question. Is there a body that within the media that governs these digital media people? Is there a body within the media where all of the digital media platforms are registered? For example, in case of Press Council of India, in case of print, there is Press Council of India. In terms of your TV channels, there are a lot of self-regulating bodies. I think there's a National Association of Broadcasters, something like this. I'm forgetting the exact name. So this is an ongoing thing. it has nothing to do with being critical or non-critical. All kinds of media, at least in the traditional domain, are given access to all kinds of government events. Standalone, maybe accreditation is not given, but very established digital media channels are being given separate passes for individual events. So their access is not revoked as far as central government is concerned. Even in Guwahati, we allow all kinds of media, anybody to come in for our events as long as it is not a security concern.
Most of the private hospitals in Nagaland, they terminate the contract on April 17th because of non-payment of claims by the previous insurance company, which was Future Generali Insurance Company. However, after that, Future Generali's insurance contract ended on 31st of March 2025. After that, we ran it on Transmart for 1 month, and now we have a new insurance company, Reliance General India Insurance Company. Now, with the new insurance company, most of the private hospitals, they have submitted their letter of intent to empanel again under the scheme. So currently, we have already signed the MOU with CIHSR, Olive Hospital, Bithal, and Eden Hospital, private hospitals. We are hoping to get the MOU signed with Faith and Nichols Hospital in the coming week. So that is for private hospitals. Apart from the private hospitals, this is just to let you know that all the public hospitals continue to function without any interruption. And also any private hospital or public hospital empaneled outside the state continue to function without any interruption. So these cases were only for the 16 or 17 private hospitals in Nagaland who had terminated the contract. Again, after they submit the letter of intent, because there were certain allegations of fraud from the insurance company also, we are vetting all the applications very carefully. We will not be empaneling any hospital that does not have a valid registration certificate with the government of Nagaland, and we will be checking every single detail that they are submitting, including their doctors' details, their medical professionals' details. So what Madam had said earlier about ABDM and the HPRs and HFRs, we will be empaneling only those hospitals which has already registered for the HFR and they have valid HPRs for their doctors. So we are also taking additional steps on our side before we empanel these hospitals back again, ensuring that we don't have similar issues that we had with FGI earlier. So just to update you, the private hospitals, we already have CIHSR, Olive, Bithal, and Eden back on board.
I mean, what mechanism has the government or the state health society in place to ensure to prevent fraud, especially with the insurance scheme, medical insurance scheme?
So to prevent,
the primary reason
yes,
for
yes.
insurance generally, what's the name?
Future Generali, right? They had alleged fraud, but it is not proven yet. So we have they have given a statement that they will clear all the payments. The court has also taken this up, and then only if at all there is investigation to be done on the fraud, and recovery will be done after that. But in the meanwhile, what I had just mentioned earlier, we are also ensuring that every hospital has HFR, which is the Health Facility Registration under ABDM. We are also checking that every doctor that they are claiming for during empanelment has an HPR, which is the Health Professional Registry registration. So that the HPR is issued only after the respective medical council vets their application and they show it as a genuine doctor. Then only the HPR is issued. So we are empaneling only those hospitals whose doctors already have a valid HPR. So we will not be allowing any hospital which does not have an HFR or HPR. That is one thing. On the other thing, with the new insurance company RGI, we also have a clause that they will be deploying whatever possible latest technology, including AI/ML, to detect fraud beforehand, not at the end of the policy. So it will be an ongoing process. So they have been showing us some demonstration of their AI/ML capabilities also to detect fraud on the go. That is second thing. And on the third side, we are also in the process of getting a third-party audit agency. So before the fraud happens, we will also be having our own third-party agency who will be checking all the claims before the fraud happens.
those are the things that we are currently undertaking.
I think I will cite one situation.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine I'm a civilian and you are a doctor, right? And you happen to work in one independent hospital, and we both happen to know each other.
Yes.
So I'll come up with a proposal. I'll act as a patient, someone who is ailing. I'll come to you, and then you draw up, you make up and say medical condition for me. You say he's suffering from so disease or illness, and then you write up the prescription and you put it up for, I think it's you put it up, the doctors put it up for doctors, but it goes through a vetting process actually. So how do you stop your case?
So let's say appendectomy, right? So you have an appendectomy and you're claiming that you have an appendicitis and you have an appendectomy, right? So during the claim processing, any insurance company, they will ask for the diagnosis, right? So they will ask for an ultrasound to check whether you really have the appendicitis or not. So all these diagnostic reports, the insurance company will ask for these documents. Now again, you might say that there can be collusion between the doctor, the patient, and also a diagnostic lab also. So we are using the NHS portal where, they have this AI system that can detect if certain documents are being used again and again. For example, a USG for appendectomy from somewhere, if it is uploaded again and again, the system detects that, okay, this image has already been uploaded somewhere else also. So those things are already in place. Again, fraud is an ongoing thing, and I think anywhere in the world you will not be able to prevent 100% of fraud. But we are also trying to put in place all this technology, as well as our own third-party agency. The insurance company has also their own audit team also, who are going to all the hospitals. Just last week we have issued an authorization letter to our insurance partner for the hospitals to allow them to come and audit all their claims. So we are trying to monitor much more closely also all the hospitals, the claims, the beneficiaries, to try and prevent the fraud and allegations of fraud that happened in the previous policy.
More people, they go in seeing these billboards and they think Ayushman card would be accepted. They they go in and then all the hospital procedures are done. They try to make the payment, 40,000, 50,000 rupees bill, and they don't accept it. But outside, they get into the hospital just because the billboard says we are Ayushman accepting hospital and all these things. So it's causing problems to local people.
So are you talking about hospitals within Nagaland or outside Nagaland? Within Nagaland, right? So again, we have been running press releases also asking beneficiaries to only go to public hospitals until we get the private hospitals on board. So we have a social media handle also where we have run posters telling beneficiaries that as of now, private hospitals have terminated the contract. Please go to only the public hospitals for now until we get them on board. In the meanwhile, we have been also working on updating our memorandum of understanding, contract terms and conditions. So in the meanwhile, if there are certain hospitals, if you can please name it to us that this hospital is no longer empaneled but they are still showing as empaneled, then we can take action on them. Otherwise, unless we have the specific names, we may not be able to immediately take action. However, we are also trying to get all the private hospitals back on board as long as they meet all the criteria for empanelment.
Time and again, we keep hearing about happening here, and just recently also for my team, big amount of stuff have been stolen there. Has the department increased the security on that, or what's the latest update right now on the two hospitals, having the two hospitals?
Things are still I think maybe the question is out of the purview of this Bartalab, I think, but yeah. No, security-wise, I think not only here, even if it's outside in other medical colleges also, or any other set, I think it's not the purview of the department to increase the security. the only thing that we can do is we write to the appropriate authority to provide for it. But those details, I think, I cannot give you the details right now how the communication has happened. I think some other are looking into it, but the awareness among the staffs, I think this is a continuing. I think the meetings within the health societies, the committees is continuing, but to provide physical security to the hospitals, I think the appropriate authority has to help us. So, so that is it. I think I may not be able to satisfy with you on that, but I think basing on the discussions which we just had now, I think if you look at the issues or programs which is happening in Nagaland or across the state, besides the investigative journalism which you are doing, and then I think for us also we're coming to aware about it. If you look at many of the programs, a big chunk of the success of the programs depends on sensitization, and that is one issue. Our programs are also, I think, some we face problems. For example, very common thing, the immunization, the polio. We had lots of, in the villages, we had lots of issues from the community. It's just because of the understanding only. Because of, so I think taking this platform, I think I would like to request all of you also, when the new programs comes, or even like the PMJY, CMHS also, we need a lot of support. We are collaborating with other agencies also to help us in certain pockets for the sensitization of this. So if we can maybe go in depth about these programs and then help the department also in sensitization this, I think it will be a great help to all of us.
Next question, please.
Different from what we have been talking about, but it's for the medical friends. In Dimapur and Kohima, we know that the pollution level is very high. And yesterday I happened to have an interaction with a scientist from Pollution Control Board, and we were just talking about how it is important to create awareness, the health aspect, the effect on the health the pollution has. And especially we see a lot of young children who are having complications with their lungs, breathing, you know. And when we come to Dimapur and Kohima, we always have this issue of constant dizziness, headache, irritation, eye irritation, and all these things are related to pollution, because when we go out, we feel that it's much, our body feels better, and the air is much breathable in that sense. So I would like to know if the health department is dedicating any particular research or studies on the pollution in Kohima and Dimapur, and if so, we would be happy to highlight it for the for our public in that sense. Thank you.
So when we come to pollution, I think, for example, especially for us, we focus mostly on the biomedical waste issues, which the pollution through the biomedical waste. We are at the very nascent stage now. I think we, compared to other states, I think the biggest problem with us is we don't have a common biomedical waste facility where we dispose many of the body parts and other toxic materials. So that is one issue which we are facing. The department is also contemplating ways and means to bring about that. Coming to I think when we talk about the pollution, the general pollution on the dust and all these things, so as I said earlier, these are, for example, maybe this will be linked to the respiratory infections and all those things. So different programs, they have their pamphlets. So as we were discussing this morning, if we had known about this a bit earlier, we could have maybe come prepared and maybe give the leaflets to all of you also. So those programs are already there. But as I said earlier, we need support, especially from the village communities, leaders, and especially our media fraternity to take forward this message. These are ongoing issues which are being discussed, as Madam has said earlier, in the village health days. But sometimes talking about this from just one angle, people are not very receptive also. So I think if it comes from different angles also, I think it would be good. So the issues which you have brought out are very legit. It is there in our leaflets and IEC materials and all. But we need to amplify those things. Yeah.
It will be a great privilege because we have 3 doctors from the medical department. So I wanted to ask you one question. This is about Japanese encephalitis, which is getting very common, and then we've heard that there are 2 death reports here in Chumugirima in Dimapur. So how serious is the medical department and the government of Nagaland regarding that?
Thank you for the question. Actually, the department has issued many notifications, I think, already in the media. And this Japanese encephalitis, we have some districts who have not taken the vaccination because it was not their earlier days. Districts like Peren, Mon and Pek, they have not been given Japanese encephalitis vaccination to the children, but these are the districts where Japanese encephalitis vaccines has taken already. But we all know that this, in spite of the vaccination status, the host is the pigs, right? And through the mosquitoes. So the Department of this one National Vector-Borne Disease Program, they are trying their best to go and survey, and they are already working at all those where there are these Japanese encephalitis cases, and the department is already working on it. Just recently, our mission director, they just came back from the national level yesterday. They had a talk on this also. They wanted to include Japanese encephalitis vaccination to every district in the state, but that it has to be done only after a technical, only after we get the signal from the technical survey by the national level only. We cannot just take up like that. So that is also on the pipeline. So the department is trying its best. The CMOs of Chumugidima and Dimapur, they have activated the district task force, and they are already working into it, and we believe the cases will be reduced and it can be controlled. That much I can say.
So I would like to take this opportunity to please share with you our social media handle as well as our toll-free number. Because in Nagaland we don't have much of TV reach also, and radio also we don't have much penetration. We are trying to reach out through our social media handle, but again the views are still very less for us. So if you can please help us in getting this out. This is the QR code to our social media handle, and that is our toll-free number for any help that any beneficiaries require for assistance, specifically for PMJY and CMHIS. Yeah. Thank you.
Any more questions?